All right, let's talk about the role of channel manager. What I want to cover in that video is what we have a channel manager do. That way we're kind of like setting the pace for what a channel manager is and what a channel manager is not.
Yeah.
You know, because I think what happens a lot of times is people want to say they have a channel manager, but in reality, what they have is like a YouTube VA.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So what are some of the things that a channel manager is and some of the things a channel manager is not?
Being a channel manager, I think about someone that's sort of driving the ship. Maybe they don't own the ship or the enterprise, but they're making sure everything gets done. So they're sort of like managing the team, meaning like they're managing the editor, they're managing the thumbnail designer, they're making sure videos get out on time, they're managing the SEO, optimization of the titling. That's sort of what I think of as a channel manager.
Yeah.
And I like one thing I'd love to ask you about is like when you're training a channel manager, are those the primary things you're looking at?
Yeah, I think so. And on that same note, like what is a channel manager not? Like a channel manager is not a social media manager.
Right.
Right? Now, I think a lot of people put their channel managers in this role where it's like, hey, I want you to manage this channel and then I want you to repurpose all the videos and then post them on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And I think that you could have a multi-channel manager, but I think that dilutes your...
So you're saying primarily they're on YouTube.
Yeah, and maybe Instagram Reels, right? Because Instagram is stories, it's posts.
Yeah.
Some of you guys might have groups out there. Like, I don't know what they call the
channels.
Is that what they call them, channels? Now, we don't use those things on Instagram because Reels gets us...
Yeah.
Reels hits all of our KPIs.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like what the business owner does, and sometimes the YouTuber, is I want one person for $10 an hour who manages everything and who I get to yell at, treat poorly, pay poorly, and they should be happy because they get to work with me.
To me, that's a social media manager or like super VA.
Well, yeah. And I also think it's a bad boss.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I get that this is your channel, this is your baby, but a channel manager is an employee of the company, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and not someone that you can just abuse. I think that there's this like YouTube VA idea. And a channel manager is not your YouTube VA. You might want to hire a YouTube VA. That's not a bad idea. You know, someone who you just, hey, get this done. Hey, get that done. Hey, get this done. If you're the YouTuber and you're the one who's been running the channel, you're gonna transfer your knowledge to them. And then they're going to start making managerial and leadership decisions for the channel, and you're going to empower them to do that.
Yeah. See, to me, what a channel manager does versus a VA is sort of, for lack of a better term, a yes man.
Yeah.
They do the task, whereas a channel manager is involved in some of the ideation and the creation as well.
Yes.
They need to know the person on camera and the substance of the channel as much as the owner of the channel does.
Yes.
Because they're involved in that entire process.
Yes, and you as the YouTuber or as the creator, it's your job to mentor and train that person to be better at that role than you are.
Yeah.
So that you can focus on delivering great videos and, of course, like, you know, the charisma, the genius that makes the channel yours.
For example, like they should be able to look at an edit and be like, this is how we edit videos for this channel.
Yes.
Like this is what the look and the feel and the vibe is.
Yes, a YouTube VA is not going to do that.
No.
A YouTube VA
get it edited.
Can get it edited. Yeah, exactly. And then can get the description box up and can make sure the link is in there. Channel manager can do those things too, but there's a higher level knowledge, right? So in our company, when we hire a channel manager, we run them through a couple different training steps, right? Now, you're a little different because, first of all, you're based in the U.S., and we're here physically, where most channel managers are a little bit more virtual. And then, you know, you're also a creator.
Yeah.
But I would also say that we have a mentoring relationship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, where there's things I know, and then there's insights that you're inputting to me all the time that are surprising me. And so I'm very blessed to have that in my realm. But when you're looking to hire a channel manager, you know, you're going to look in South America or you're going to look in the Philippines. Yeah. We haven't had as much success in India. India is a different skill set, if you ask me, and there's a different culture set. Still very valuable. Just in the channel manager role, we see it coming from more Western nations. And you're going to have them do a couple different key skill sets that are standardized. So number one is going to be research and script development, and find good topics.
Yeah.
for the channel, okay? Then there's script development, okay? We call these VBOs or video build-outs. So you're going to do some research, pick some topics, and then you're going to pick 1 or 2 topics that you're going to film that week.
Right.
After that process, you're going to ensure that the creator films the videos. And I think that a lot of people take this for granted because you're a YouTuber probably watching this and you're like, I don't need someone to tell me to film videos, but what has been the process that you've experienced with us with like our clients are doctors, they're lawyers, they're business people, and they almost never show up to film.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like to some degree it's being a producer role as well. They're sort of synonymous, but it's like
it's good.
The channel manager has to hold everyone accountable, including, the CEO, the doctor, whoever's running the channel.
Yeah.
They have to hold them to a schedule. So they're sort of managing the calendar. Like we have film days on Wednesdays. It's marked off, but we show up to film day and you say, hey, Ryan, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And usually that would be filled in prior. I would give you some notes maybe the day before or 2 days before.
Yeah.
But I'm always checking in with you so like you're not going to this completely blind and there is a plan.
Yes.
So they're showing up like with a metaphorical clipboard with these are the things we're getting done. This is the order. They're managing the schedule basically.
Yeah, you got to make sure that the creator creates, because you got a schedule to keep, Okay, so you've got the talking points, the VBO built out for the video, and you do the same thing for a podcast, One thing I like about Colin and Samir is they don't appear to have notes, but I guarantee you they do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I guarantee you there's like, hey, here's what we want to talk about, and most of your guests, if you guys are interviewing guests, are going to have a do not talking points, like, hey, I don't want to talk about my wife, I don't want to talk about my divorce or whatever.
Yeah.
So you film the video, then you got to get the video to the editor.
Yeah.
Now, the channel manager should never be the editor. Tell me why.
Well, I think it's just, one, it may not be their strength. Maybe they have dabbled in it. Like, I think a channel manager should know what a good video looks like.
Absolutely.
Structurally.
Yes.
So that they can give feedback to the editor.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other skill set. That's a lot of demand. So
yes.
It needs to be really good. You have to have it almost as a pure focus.
Yes.
But at the same time, the best channel managers know what a good video looks like. And that's also part of the research aspect of the video creation initially should be like developing who's in your niche, who should we be watching to get ideas from, what's popping.
What does a video not look like,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't have zany pop in kind of wow, zing ba, type videos, right? But you're right. The channel manager should have an editing skill, but the editor needs to edit. The editor needs to craft the story, and the editor needs to be in a dark room with a Mountain Dew. And I hate Mountain Dew. I used to love it, but it's like toxic, green sludge.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I used to edit because that was probably my core skill was editing in the beginning, right? And so it's like I would sit in a room with a Mountain Dew and Doritos in a dark room, and I had my headphones in, and I was dialed in.
Yeah.
You can't do that and research the next video or upload and publish the previously edited video.
It's sort of like asking a director to be the editor.
Yeah, it's very easy to take your editor who loves you, loves the channel, knows the systems, and be like, why don't you be my channel manager? But then you're losing an editor, right? So the idea is your editor edits and your channel manager is the one coming in virtually and patting them on the back and saying, how you doing? Everything good? Great, cool, can't wait to see the finished product. While going to the thumbnail maker. Now we separate our editors and our thumbnail makers as well, right? It's so, but again, it's good. So it's the editor's editing, and the channel manager's getting maybe 2 thumbnails made to split test on that video. And the channel manager needs to be in a place where he can kind of check in on the editor, get a progress update, but also even show him, hey, here's the thumbnail we're working on. Yes. Or go to the editor and say like, hey, can you get us a good screen grab that we can use for this thumbnail? Here's our concept idea, right? But the nary, what do they say? Like nary should the 2 meet or whatever, you know what I mean? So your thumbnails making, and then your channel manager is going to grab the MP4, it's going to grab the JPEG, put those on the channel, and I think that's where the channel manager really shines is bringing them all together into the YouTube platform where you're adding a title and a description box. And I hate it when people say tags because tags are stupid. I don't know even if they matter anymore. We still use tags, but it's not like we come up with new tags. It's
I don't know.
But it's that optimization. You don't want stupid tags. You know what I mean? Like if YouTube has a box, you should fill it. But the channel manager knows how to balance that time. I've had so many people in the past like, man, I've been researching tags for like an hour. And it's like, you shouldn't research tags for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that optimization process. Yes. And then looking at it and going, this is ready to publish, right? Scheduling the publishing date or unlisting it, whatever that process is. Like for us, we go through a process of unlist it, and we use thumbsup.tv is how we do it. So it's like they present me the video in a thumbsup.tv screen grabs. Yeah. And it's like, is this ready for publish? We go, yeah, it's ready for publish.
That's so you can see what it looks like on the home screen, the browse screen, and the sidebar. So you can see all the variations of where it's going to be shown on YouTube. What's it look like? What's the title look like? Can they read it? Does it look like it's eye-grabbing? That's the reason they use thumbs up.
Yeah, we want to see what it's going to look like when the user picks up their phone, right? And we're really focused on the phone. Yep. I think desktop's cool and like Apple TV's cool. And Apple TV is actually becoming a bigger...
Yeah, I think it's predominantly phone and TV now.
Yeah, and really what we look at in thumbsup.tv is how does it look with a truncated title?
Yeah.
And how does it look with the full title?
Yep.
I think that's kind of like our big thing, and that might take a couple different forms. We get it scheduled. After it's approved, it's scheduled because now you can't watch it anymore.
Yep.
And then like the job's over. Right now we're on to the next video and the cycle repeats itself. So now I'm researching, I'm building out the next video and building that process again. And I think that there's room to talk about the social media sharing, and there's room to talk about like blog embeds. I think blog embeds are a great way to get backlinks for your videos.
Yeah.
But I would again argue that that's where the web team or the social media team's going to take over.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those things yet, I would put more money, time, and energy, right? Because it's always about what can you afford. Oh, I can't afford a social media team. All right, well then, do you need it? I think a good YouTube channel is going to outperform reposting it on Facebook.
Always, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A good short strategy, a good long form strategy on YouTube will outperform your YouTube stuff. Maybe you don't need to put it in your blog.
Yeah, and I almost look at it as reverse engineering. So sometimes it's like if you have an idea that's maybe experimental, but you're not sure if you want to make a full YouTube video and all that process to do it, make a short, throw it on Reels on Instagram, see how it does, and then double test that with, is there interest on YouTube for this topic?
Oh, that's so good.
And then you can expand on a shorter video into a longer video rather than going the other way around, which is what most people do.
Yeah.
I think that's a better use of that side of the research maybe than focusing on how do I make a 10-minute video into 15 short clips that no one will watch.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yeah, and that's the channel manager should be like, hey, creator, it's like, hey, boss, I know you want to do this, but I just don't think it's going to give us the bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Like, we've probably got 1 or 2 repurposed long forms that are performing well as shorts. Yeah. But our best shorts and reels were made to be shorts and reels. And in we call them LFVs, long form videos, and SFVs, right? Like short form videos. Yeah. So it's like your channel manager needs to be the one that can pull the reins and implement some leadership and say like, hey, we're going to do a long form video. Maybe we'll remix it. Remixing is kind of a cool thing. We'll remix it and then we'll do something else, from there. So I think what I want to talk about next is in the next video is there's so much we could talk about too. Is like I want to get into like the test reels. That's a phenomenal new feature and maybe some other things. But I want to talk about like how do you hire a channel manager and do you need someone from YouTube? Do you need to hire a YouTuber to do that? I think you'll be surprised at the answer. So how do you hire a channel manager and like what's that process look like? That we'll cover that in the next video. Guys, thanks for being here today and we'll see you next time.